raise a family and retire.
I thank the member for Brisbane and I call the member for Braddon.
Thank you very much, Deputy Speaker. And I rise today to highlight a critical issue to Tasmanian businesses, to the Tasmanian community, the Tasmanian economy and Australia as a whole, and I would think everyone would want to listen to what I have to say. We currently have a fuel security emergency on our hands, yet this government is doing nothing about it. But I will note there is a Liberal senator, Senator Molan, and a Liberal backbencher, the member for Canning, who do understand what I have to say, which is pleasing, and I wish there was more that would listen to them. The government's own statistics show current reserves of fuel, diesel, jet fuel and petrol sit at 3 weeks or less, and that includes the supply sitting out at sea on vessels. This is in contravention to the International Energy Agency's 90-day fuel stock holding obligation that has been in place since March 2012. In simple terms, as a nation, we are meant to have 3 months' supply here on the continent. Instead, we have just 3 weeks. There are a number of factors at play here, including the closure of 4 Australian petroleum refineries and the loss of a domestic shipping fleet to transport fuel to and from this country. Our fuel supply is at the mercy of the boardrooms of overseas countries, which is an absolute shame. In my electorate, we have seen these decisions at work. The Alexander Spirit, when docked in Devonport, in my hometown in 2015, had its crew sacked to be replaced by foreign labour in Singapore. And who gave the permit to allow that to occur? This Liberal government. This decision meant Tasmania is now entirely dependent on international ships with foreign crews to supply our fuel. Nationally, this emergency and lack of Australian crewed ships potentially has enormous ramifications. What happens in a time of conflict when the government needs to requisition ships to supply the Navy and nation with fuel? Where will they come from? Simple answer, nowhere. Because under this government, there will not be an Australian ship supporting an Australian effort. What also happens if there is another global financial crisis and international credit markets collapse, tying up foreign ships? And that can happen based on the situation with some of these international shipping countries. You can have a ship out at sea with fuel to come to Australia. That ship needs support. Nothing happens with that fuel. And then again, Australia has 3 weeks of fuel here. Short-sighted and ideological policy decisions from this government could see Australians paying a very heavy price. Earlier this week, I called upon this government to abandon their proposed flawed coastal shipping legislation, as it will potentially open Bass Strait up to more foreign flagships. Tasmanian Senator Colbeck responded that the government's proposal were good for business, but his logic is flawed beyond belief. As an island state, Tasmania absolutely relies upon reliable shipping services, and Bass Strait is Tasmania's social and economic lifeline. It's about time that this government woke up for the good of the Tasmanian economy, for our farmers and producers.
I thank the member for Braddon and I